The engine's now split into three pieces: the head, the block and the gearbox, and it's time for me to sort everything into bags, label everything up and work out which piece to work on first. Since doing this engine rebuild series, I've been asked two specific questions quite a few times, and I guess this leads me on to the next video in this series. The first question is, why am I stripping the engine down? And the other question I get asked is, what's my plan for the engine once it's stripped down? But putting that to one side for 1 minute, something that's not a question but is something that I've had several people comment on is that technically I'm stripping down an A Plus series engine, not necessarily just an A series engine, even though this series is entitled A Series Engine Rebuild. And that is true, but I sort of went for a more generic title rather than a precise title, steering toward the fact that whilst this is an A Plus series engine, it's still part of the A series family. So strictly speaking, yes, it is an A Plus, but it's within the A series engine family. Anyway, I hope I can be forgiven for that. So regarding the first question, why am I stripping down the engine? Well, ultimately I'm trying to completely restore a Mini from start to finish, so it would be a bit daft of me not to restore the engine whilst I'm restoring the rest of the car. I bought this 1275 engine on eBay, and it's originally from a 1987 Metro, although it had been sitting in a Mini Moke for some time. On first inspection it looked great and appeared to run alright, but I started noticing a few things that appear to have been changed or messed with, and it was not running very well after I'd put it in for a test run. So it just seemed the right thing to do to completely strip down the engine and get it running right, as at the minute it's over 30 years old. I'd hate to go through all the time and effort of restoring the car only to put an odd lump of an engine back in that's not reliable. But do I want to go through all this time and effort only to have the engine running as it was designed to straight from the factory, or do I want to spice it up a little bit? Well, originally I had a 998 engine fitted in the car when I bought it, and when I swapped it for the 1275, I'll not lie, there was a certain element of fun once it was swapped over, mainly from the extra power and the acceleration increase that I got from the engine, and I think with a bit of thought and careful planning I could increase that fun factor if I build the engine right. The problem I have, and I think many others do too when building the first engine, is knowing exactly what to do with regards to the upgrades, and having that balance between power, acceleration, top speed, noise levels and reliability, and it's knowing which parts are compatible with each other. It's obviously not just a case of saying I'd like a specific bore with a specific cam with a specific head, and then I'll just go and supercharge it. Whilst I'm no expert, I know things have to work together properly, and there's more to it than simply buying a load of parts online, fitting them, and hope it all works when it's all set up on the rolling road. There's obviously a lot of science behind getting it all right. So before I upload the next video in the series, I need to go and do a bit of research and have a proper think what it is I'd like to get from the engine. I think ultimately I want drivability, reliability and an element of fun. I want it to sound good, but not at the risk of losing my hearing. I also like having a bit of room in the engine bay. Currently there's no brake servo in this car, and it's great having the extra room in the engine bay, so I'm not sure if fitting a bigger carb or a supercharger or a turbo is on the cards, but never say never. It's definitely something I need to think about properly, as I don't want to have to do this twice and I need to get it right first time. As usual, I'm open to suggestions, although I'll still have to research everything, as I'm one of those people who needs to understand everything before I commit to anything. It'll also be interesting to see exactly how much of the original parts will need to be kept, exchanged or binned. But one bonus of having now stripped the engine into its main parts is that I finally get my workshop and my lathe back. So it'll be a few weeks before my next engine build video, and in the meantime I can get on with fitting the toe board. Prior to making the videos on YouTube, I worked as a firefighter for nearly 20 years, serving my community and helping to save lives and promote the fire safety message. Unfortunately, an accumulation of many upsetting scenes became too much for my mind to cope with, and after years of failed therapy I was retired from the service on the grounds of ill health and signed off medically from any employment. To keep myself busy, both body and mind, I developed an interest in woodworking and car mechanics, and with already having a hobby in filming and music, I combined my interest and started making videos here on YouTube, filming, editing and composing my own music for my woodworking and car restoration channels Smugwood and Smugwood Mini. Unfortunately, to produce such videos comes at a price, and with minimal funds after being retired from employment, I've turned to Patreon to see if there is additional support out there which could allow me to continue making the woodworking and car restoration videos. In return for support, there are various levels which are explained in more depth at the Patreon link below, but includes the chance to win one of my YouTube projects made throughout the year, and also inclusion into random prize draws open to patrons only. In addition, I'd like to thank everybody who already subscribes to my channels, or watches, comments, likes and shares them, as it all goes to help support my channels, and for that I'm really appreciative. It's my hope that I can continue making the videos for the foreseeable future. Thanks once again for your continued support.